At 7 o'clock this morning, 1 week into the federal government's full-scale intervention in Washington, D.C.'s policing operations, the city finds itself standing at a constitutional and civic crossroads. A layered and unprecedented deployment of federal power now permeates nearly every block of the Capitol, transforming a historically localized public safety framework into a federally dominated security apparatus. The news came after a closed-door session between attorneys from the Department of Justice and the D.C. Attorney General's office, which ended with confirmation that Chief Pamela Smith would remain head of the Metropolitan Police Department. This arrangement, while preserving appearances of autonomy, was offset by the announcement that DEA Administrator Terry Cole would serve as the federal designee authorized to request police services from the D.C. Mayor. A symbolic reshuffle with deeply strategic consequences. This federal maneuver invokes questions about the Home Rule Act and its limits. While D.C. retains municipal governance, the ultimate sovereignty of Congress and now the Justice Department casts a long shadow. Attorney General Pam Bondi reinforced the depth of this shift by releasing a directive requiring D.C. police to coordinate with federal immigration enforcement. The implications are sweeping, especially in a city where past leadership prided itself on its status as a sanctuary jurisdiction. In the streets, the consequences of this realignment are becoming increasingly visible and contested. Protesters have begun gathering in symbolic spaces like DuPont Circle, rejecting what they describe as an occupation. With the National Guard, FBI, Delaware A, and Secret Service all now actively present, D.C. is in unfamiliar territory. For some, this heightened presence offers overdue security. For others, it is a violation of civic identity. In a special overnight investigation, WUSA 9 reporter Eric Flack documented the tangible reality of federal presence. Just before 1 o'clock in the morning, along the U Street corridor, FBI agents masked their faces as they supported D.C. police in a routine traffic stop. Moments later, further down the street, another stop ended in arrest. Though the charges remain unclear, the symbolism is not. The FBI's physical role in neighborhood enforcement marks a clear pivot in the city's law enforcement model. Reactions to this new normal vary sharply. Residents like Brooke and Daryl Owens, interviewed after a Nationals game, say they welcome the crackdown. Their neighborhood, Navy Yard, has suffered from rising crime, carjackings, assaults, property damage. They see the federal intervention not as overreach, but as long-delayed accountability. It is notable, however, that Daryl Owens is a political appointee of President Donald Trump, whose administration ordered the deployment. Meanwhile, local civilians continue to reconcile the tension between increased safety and democratic discomfort. Along the wharf, DEA patrols intermingled with weekend celebrations. Karen Smith, celebrating a birthday, saw it as reassuring. For restaurant managers and other business owners, the impact is subtle but undeniable. Federal agents, some clearly identifiable, others not, walk among tourists and locals alike. Still, dissent festers. Jazzy Rich, a local resident, offered a stark counterpoint. She questioned whether this level of force truly addresses root causes of insecurity or merely imposes a militarized calm. Her concern echoes broader skepticism that resources might be better spent uplifting rather than surveilling the population. Fathers like Caden do voice conflicted sentiments. He does not support the optics of federal law enforcement dominating local spaces, but admits the city needed intervention. This kind of begrudging acceptance may reflect a broader national narrative, wherein citizen frustration over rising crime intersects uncomfortably with questions of liberty, jurisdiction, and proportionality. As the lights continue to flash across D.C. intersections, the question lingers. Is this a temporary response to urban volatility, or the blueprint for a new model of American internal security? The federal government has made its move. Whether the people of Washington will accept the terms remains a far more complicated calculation.